So this past weekend, my family and I took a trip up to the Irish Hills of Michigan for the Firekeepers Casino 400, and I just kind of wanted to recap my experience, talk a little bit about the race, and just have a general discussion with you guys about NASCAR and where I'm at. So first, I just want to start by saying that the driver intros were a little different than I've ever seen before. I'm not entirely sure if they've done this recently in the past, but I've never seen them herd a third of the drivers into these moving barges, I guess you could say. They always used to be on pickup trucks and would basically just have two drivers together, and they'd ride the pickup trucks around the track. But anyway, it was fun that we got to see the Goodyear blimp. It was the 100th anniversary of Goodyear this year, I'm pretty sure, and they brought the black and white blimp out to Michigan. Just kidding, it was normal color. I was just having some fun with the color editing. But it was really cool to see the blimp in person, and it actually cast a shadow on us during the race. The flyover, of course, was great as always. I think they were P-51 Mustangs, but I could be wrong. And then they had the American flags flying on the backs of the pickup trucks around the track when the national anthem was over. So very fun time for the pre-race aspect of it. And then I was able to I captured some videos of different aspects of the race. Here they're all leaving pit road, and I was trying to do some influencer things, even though I'm not really an influencer. This was one of the first races that I've ever spent the most time on my phone. But as the B-roll kind of plays in the background, I just kind of wanted you guys to get a little feel for how our day was at the track. It was fun. There's always a good time to be had at the track. We got there at about 10 a.m.-ish, maybe 10:15, parked. And then behind Michigan, so technically on property, but sort of off property still, are, my buddy called them gypsy tents, but I had never known them as that. They were just the aftermarket, kind of flea market tents, where honestly it's just a bunch of, I don't want to say that. It's a lot of junk that's in there, a lot of stuff you don't need, a lot of things that have been paraded around from race to race, tent to tent. But I didn't buy anything. My friend, he bought quite a few things. I was disappointed. There's like a gap of cars that I'm kind of looking for from mainly the COT era up until this new, let's say 2018 era, so 07 to about 2017. And the amount of cars diecast for that era are very limited. It's hard to find them. So I was disappointed in that aspect, but and they also sold stuff like t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, like all things that I don't really need. I guess I don't really need diecast, but if my channel's called Diecast Driven, you guys get the idea. But anyway, just a little bit about the race. I remember the days of Michigan where, and you got to remember, we started going here back in like 2004, 2005. I remember the days where they would run grass all the way up to the wall. There'd be lanes, there'd be fuel mileage, there'd be strategy. There just wasn't, with the stages, there's not really any strategy. Everybody pitted on like the second to last caution or something, and then everyone was supposed to be able to make it. Of course, Byron running out of fuel was like the worst possible outcome for me, on top of Hamlin winning. So my last race at Michigan was an utter flop from that aspect, and it really annoyed me. But I mean, overall, the racing was okay in person. It was fine. It's like a 1.5 to 2 lane track now, and I don't know, it's just not that interesting. I didn't really want to rant this video, but I just kind of wanted to give a quick recap of my weekend and show you guys some videos of what I took of the race. Something different, but my last ever Michigan race that I will be attending. I finally used up all of my rainout tickets, and I don't plan on attending anymore. But I have one more race to go at Watkins Glen later this year, and then I think that's going to be it for me going to live races. I don't really intend on going to any more. I've just kind of lost the passion. I mean, the racing was fine. It was pretty good. There was some passing that was being able to be had, but overall, it's just, I don't know, something about the cars, something about the way they sound. It's just not for me anymore. So maybe in the future I'll come back to it, but as of right now, I'm taking a hiatus from going to live races. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you later. Bye, everyone.